And we are live on another edition of All In on NJIC Football. Kurt Valenti, Jennifer Valenti, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. A little tired today. Had a nice day off yesterday. Thank you to Kearney School District. But you had work.
I did not have off. Yep.
So yeah, I was
Happy
home, had a
Columbus
nice
Day to
day. Happy
everybody.
Columbus Day to everybody. And that's it. Excited. Broncos won. Knicks start a week from tomorrow. Let's go.
Let's go.
Other than that, it's just not us two again. We have a producer backstage, Sean. Sean, how are you? Hey, Sean came back for week 2, so that's a start for us.
Positive.
How you guys doing? I'm happy to be here again. Grateful for you guys having me.
No, Sean did a
Our
great
pleasure.
job last week,
Helping
and
us out behind the scenes.
does a great job. And look, he's already got our social media in there. He doesn't play around, but he did a great job. And again, thank you so much for being part of our team, Sean. Looking forward to working with you.
While we're talking about our team, a little thanks to Cooper, who does a lot of our stat work for us and with us each week. And we just welcomed on a new intern as well. Aurora is going to be doing some also behind the scenes stuff for us as well, working with our social media, helping us with some videos,
clips,
and graphics,
and
and clips. So glad to have everybody on board. So thank you.
Our first comment of the night is from our good friend Ernie Mays, another Bronco fan. Hey, when the Bronco fan checks in on our All-In show, that's a good thing.
We'll take it.
So, Jen, you know what? It's playoff time. It's NJIC semifinal playoff time this week. And not just those 2 games. I mean, yeah, those are the 2 games, but we have tons of crossover games.
Matchups, yeah.
Exciting games. Listen, I'm going to be honest. This is the first week when I made picks. It was like, oh boy, like which way are we going?
Yeah.
So excited for that.
So many games like that.
So what's on our slate for tonight?
Well, real quick, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Red's Restaurant and Beer Garden, the Roosevelt Villa Italia Restaurant in Lyndhurst, Puppies and Tattoo, Tall Grooming, which is locations in North Arlington, Fairlawn, Montclair, and a mobile dog grooming service. And of course, Lion Coffee. Our coaches who appear with us receive a 10% discount. Receive free coffee when they're on. Patrick at Lion Coffee is so generous. But anybody else who'd like to order, here is a 10% discount just for our viewers. Just enter the promo Patrick10 at lioncoffee.com and take advantage of that 10% discount. So thank you to our sponsors. Our slate, it's
big slate, big slate, and we're doing a couple of little different additions tonight.
Yeah, so we are going to we'll be joined by Saddlebrook football. We'll start us off in a moment. We have some players coming in, individual players that we kind of wanted to talk to and highlight some of their recent play. We will then do a breakdown of our 2 games of the week, or the 2 NJIC semifinals this week. We will of course have our stat leaders for week 6 play, and then we'll honor our Bo's top dog of the week throughout the evening. What's a little bit different, we wanted to try to get give a little more details on not just our games of the week, but the entire slate for the week. So we'll be kind of
going in and out of every game, and then our picks will still be at the end.
Exactly. So we don't have to give that huge breakdown at the end. We're hoping to give a little more insight into the matchups throughout the evening. So we'll kind of be bringing in a game here and there. So
okay,
a little different.
Mr. Kirkpatrick, live from Maryland. We'll see how his picks did. Good evening, Jen and Kurt, and welcome everyone to another amazing episode of All In on NJIC. Thank you, Mr. Kirkpatrick, part of our pick segment. He'll be picking later on tonight. So I'm ready to go. If you want to start with my quick hitters, we do it around the NJIC quick hitters. Let's start with it. Most dominant team last week, Jen.
I'm going to go with Waldwick. I thought that their 53-20 win over Cresskill was impressive. I was expecting that to be a much closer matchup, and I was impressed with what they've done. I think they're hitting their peak at the right time, and that to me, that was the most dominant performance.
Mine's Waldwick also.
Ooh.
Again, a very good Cresskill team. Waldwick has been hot. We had them on last week. Hint, hint, we may have somebody on this week, but Jen, that rushing game, I mean, almost 400 yards rushing against Cresskill, led by Dylan Ferreira. But I'm going to say, listen, just dominant.
Around, he might be on later.
He might be on later. And you know what? When there's breaking news, we break news. Patrick Wilsey, there he is. Aloha, my East Coast brother and sister. There's Patrick live. This is Patrick with the Lion Coffee, most generous guy on this podcast. Again, actually, I apologize. I did not get, I know his schedule was off. I got to get him some addresses from last week. So I will do that after the show tonight. But Patrick, like you said, Jen put up the promo before. But Patrick, thank you so much for everything you do for us. And I know all the coaches appreciate it also. Second one, give me your surprise last week.
My surprise last week is Bogota. In a good way. I was expecting to be a close game. I think that Bogota kind of dominated Woodridge from the beginning. 29-6 at halftime. They scored all of their points in the second quarter. Final 29-18. But I mean, Jaden Gonzalez just was a force to be reckoned with in that game. So yeah, that was my surprise.
My surprise is Park Ridge. You know, St. Mary's I thought was hot. You know, obviously we had George Bruton on last week. And, you know, listen, this is why we always say, I think you're going to hear this. I'll use John Beelan's word, theme throughout the night of being able to run the football. Because, listen, Saturday, rain, right? Bad weather. St. Mary's wanted to throw it more. Park Ridge was the better team running the ball, and they got that game done. So I'm going to say that was my surprise. Kenny's surprise also. Jen, give me a team going in the right direction.
I'm going to go with Waldwick again. That win over Cresskill made 3 in a row. You know, they get into the crossover portion of their schedule now. You know, there are going to be 2 more tough games for them, starting with Garfield this week, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. But you know what? We always talk about peaking at the right time, you know, and I feel like things are coming together then. And I'm going to pick Waldwick as my go trending in the right direction team.
Cover your ears, Mr. Tuero, Coach Tuero, but I'm going Garfield. You know, Jen, they were 21 seconds away.
Well, that's interesting. Our 2 teams that we picked to trend in the right direction are going to
play each other. You know, listen, but 21 seconds, hey, they lose their quarterback. They basically have to run wildcat for the rest of the game. They go on a 19-play drive. They take up about 8 minutes, maybe even more. And they just, you know, get slipped up going. And again, give credit to the Beckton defense. But this team, Jen, I'm telling you, next year, listen, the rest of this year, but next year, it's not this team's coming. This team is here. So I am definitely going there. Kenny is going Palisades Park. Okay. That's a good one. Albert Knoppers, have a good friend, have a great show, y'all saying. There's our good friend, Albert Knoppers. Jen, this is kind of a 2-part. Kenny actually gave me a quick hitter, and this is almost like the question I'm going to ask you. Give me the best team that is not in the NJIC playoffs this week.
I cheated on this one. I had to choose 2. I have Glen Rock and I have Hasbrook Heights. Glen Rock was a pass or 2 away from a completion or 2 away from that game being flipped, right? Hasbrook Heights, you know, just so many players there that, you know, and I feel like that game against Butler was like
right there.
Maybe
had the lead.
Who you know had possession last, maybe, you know, it's just almost like a shootout type of game. So those are my 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Heights too. I mean, those would be my 2, I would say. But I'm gonna go Heights. Like you said, you have, you know, Nipatella, Napolitano, Brady Shine, you know, the sophomore class there. It's just that team is loaded. You saw what they could do, right? They went toe-to-toe with Butler, had to lead with Butler. I mean, no one's really had a lead with Butler that late. Just like you said, though, too, Glen Rock had opportunities to beat Rutherford and be again in this playoff. So I think those are the 2, but I am going to say Heights. Albert is saying, by the way, do you have a friendly competition with Kenny now the Giants are playing? But yeah, we have something going on there. Let me ask you Kenny's question. Or is it the same answer? Which team not in the in the NJIC playoffs is one to really watch out for in the state playoffs? Would you say those 2 teams? Is it the same thing?
I mean, I think that they are 2 really good teams, you know. Listen, Glen Rock fell to Butler, Hasbrook Heights fell. I'm sorry, Glen Rock fell to Rutherford, and Hasbrook Heights fell to Butler, who are 2 stellar teams as well. So, you know, but yeah, so I would have to say that my answer is the same.
Kenny's also saying Lyndhurst and Park Ridge as well. Listen, Park Ridge Heights, that's going to be a good one this week. That's going to show a lot of
I'm going to say with, you know, we got to see how things pan out to see who is a playoff team in some of these crossover games. These, it's going to determine whether they make the playoffs. So it's, some of the teams, it's really make or break. So it's going to be interesting to see.
So those are the quick hitters. Again, I think great job, Jen. And listen, I'm excited for the show. We have a lot to go on, a lot of different players coming in. Please. So I'm ready to go.
Let's get to our first guest. We are going to bring in Saddlebrook football. So let me get Coach Catrona in. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hi, guys. How are you? Thanks for having us.
Our pleasure. We are joined by Saddlebrook coach Joe Catrona and his player senior Dylan Cerciello. Coach is in his first year at the helm of Saddlebrook. New to Saddlebrook, not new to the NJIC. But welcome, Coach. Good to have you on.
Thanks for having us.
Coach, thank you again for taking so much, taking time out of your busy schedule. We always appreciate it. We love you here. So glad you're back. So, Coach, the record might not show it, but you guys have played a lot of tough games and you guys lost a lot of close games to some tough teams. So how much has this team gotten better since day one you took over this program?
Yeah, I think, with a new staff and new systems, it was, a lot of learning and stuff like that. I think we've played the toughest schedule in the NJIC. The teams we played are combined 32-15. 6 of the 7 teams that we've played, if the playoffs started today, would be in the playoffs. Butler's a 1 seed, Kittatinny's a 5, New Milford's a 7, Pagoda's a 5 seed, Heights is a 3 seed, Seahawk is a 7, Hawthorne's right outside. So it's it's not like we're losing to bad football teams here. We're competitive in each game. Besides the Butler and the second half of Heights, we're competitive in all the games. We just got to learn how to finish. And, I think Saddlebrook football is on the up. Even if our record doesn't suggest that, we have some tough kids and, we have some good rec players coming up. And, I think Saddlebrook football will be on the map sooner than later.
Nice. Dylan, I'm going to come to you next. Week in and week out, you are on the top of our defensive leaderboard. I want to ask you 2 things. Number one, what is your mentality on defense, and what do you think makes you such a good defensive player?
Yeah, so my mentality is just like when I go out there, I'm just thinking that if no one else is going to do it, or if I don't do it, then no one's going to do it, I go out there, I just really try to be like the only standout guy, because on a team that, that we can't really do much against if there's, better opponents. I just go out there and I try to play my game and I try to be my best. So that's it.
Coach, we got a comment for you from a Melvino saying, I miss you, Coach.
Thanks. Miss you too.
I'm going to come right back to Dylan. So can you talk about this new field, right? We have not seen it yet. We have to get down there, but can you talk about it, the new facility, Dylan, and, what is just so exciting, again, just for you, the next group, and years to come in to play Saddlebrook football with this new facility?
Yeah, of course. Honestly, the field is probably one of my favorite parts about Saddlebrook High School. It's an amazing field, by the way. The turf, it's tremendous. The light show they do, they have they have blue lights, they have green lights, pink lights, and they do like a light show every time we score. It's honestly amazing. The atmosphere is great. It's just we have a smaller school, so the audience really it's a little dimmed down, but the more people we get there, just the greater the atmosphere looks, and the field always looks amazing no matter what. So yeah.
That's awesome. Must be so fun to play in that. Coach, can you talk a little bit about Dylan, not only as a player, but also as a leader on the team?
Yeah, I mean, he's a leader on and off the field. He's not one of the biggest guys, but he's got one of the biggest hearts out there. We preach toughness. I think everywhere that I've coached, I've always preached that tough kids, win games, and Dylan's one of those tough kids. He leads by example. All the younger guys look up to him and do what he does and follow him. So, just a tremendous kid, on and off the field, a kid that I'm proud of, even though I've only gotten to coach him, this year. That's probably the only regret I have this year is I only get to coach these seniors for the 1 year. Dylan, Nick Vidiello, John Carlo Gross, Booze, Jaden Gadius, all these kids are phenomenal kids. And, stinks that I only get them the 1 year because I think we could have done some damage if I've had him multiple years. But Dylan is top-notch kid, top-notch player, one of the best kids I've been able to coach, in 25 years. So, kudos to him and kudos to his parents for raising such a great kid.
You know what, Coach? You mentioned some of your seniors there as well. Can you take a moment and highlight some of your other players too?
Yeah, Nick Vidiel's been doing a tremendous job at quarterback. Leading a new offense. Giancarlo Gross at right tackle. Brandon Buzamita at the center. Jaden Gadius, unfortunately, he hasn't been able to play in most of the games. He's had a shoulder injury. He's one of our better skill guys. I think if we had him in a couple games, a couple of those tight games might be a little bit different. It's Jake Rigolosi, a kid that maybe doesn't play a lot, but he's got a ton of heart. Comes every day to practice. He's a tough kid. Not on the big side, but he'll stick his nose in there. So it's a great senior class, and one that's setting the bricks and laying the bricks and the foundation for the future here for these for Saddlebrook and the kids to see and see that what we can be. Like I said, we've been competitive in every game. Besides the Butler game. We've been competitive. Heights was 13-0. It should have been 13-7 at the half. All the other games are tight. So, I think the future is bright, and I think the seniors, they're laying the foundation, for what the future is going to behold here in Saddlebrook.
Well, Coach, I was just going to say that, like when you talk, I just remember, coaching under Coach Sheridan, and the one group he always mentioned was like his first two teams. It's always like, he said, hey, the success, the wins came later on, like 20 years later for him. But he always said those kids were the ones that set the tone for what that program is going to be. And I have a feeling like a kid like Dylan, right? Like, I'll tell you this, it's always funny. Jen and I, like, we always do our stats every week. The first question, it's, Jen, how many tackles, sir? Say, oh, what do you have? 14. All right, write it down. 14. It's like, it's
yeah. He flies in there like a lightning bolt. So he plays a rover position, which is like a safety that can roll down as an outside linebacker, and teams are probably like, oh, what's this 5'8", 155-pound kid doing an outside linebacker? But he goes in there and he's gonna hit you. He's gonna make those tackles. He's gonna go up against the big kids. It's just one of the kids that just doesn't care. You need those type of kids they're just tough mentally and physically, and they'll stick their nose in there no matter what.
Thomas Nago saying, Coach Catrona, stud coach. Another comment. I'm going to go back to Dylan. Dylan, what's your rest of season goals for the rest of the season?
Win 3 games. We only got 3 left. Win 3 games. For personal goals, I love defense. So my personal goals would be, I want to get more interceptions, more forced fumbles. I love to up takeovers. My favorite thing to do.
I tell you, Dylan, as a coach, we always love players that love defense. That's
Yep.
I love that. That's awesome. Coach, you have Wallington coming up this week. Can you tell us a little bit about them and the matchup?
Yeah, Wallington's got a tough kids. It's a town that I grew up in Carlsbad, so I've known, kids from Wallington for a very long time. Always tough kids. They got a big offensive line. They got a real good quarterback that throws the ball real well. Everyone thinks of Wallington as a running town or a running team, and they got a quarterback that can throw the ball. So this is a tough matchup. Again, we got to focus on ourselves and do the things that we know that we're capable of doing. We've made a lot of mistakes in some games. We just got to fix those mistakes. But Wallington is going to be a tough opponent, no doubt about it. It's going to be a great game on Thursday night. Two teams, both teams tough kids, and we're looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, Coach and Dylan, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure to have you guys. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, Coach Catrona and Dylan's first. And again, Jen, we weren't joking. Is that what we always do when we do stats?
Yeah,
it's the first thing. Hey, how many
100%.
tackles did he make? Right. And then, like 15, 16, like, the kid is incredible. And again, I always remember Coach Sheridan saying it, Jen, like those are the kids, like that group, that first group, it's not easy to, you get a new coach, you get a new system, you get a new everything.
Yeah.
Like he's saying, they're there once they finish, and then once it's just going to be habit. And listen, Saddlebrook's in great hands with Coach Catrona. We all know that. They got the great facility now. They put the money into that football program. So excited.
Yeah.
Dylan got a comment from a YouTube comment. I missed it, but was saying hello to Dylan.
No.
Okay.
Before we move on to our next guest, we're going to be bringing in some individual players. We want to do a quick breakdown of some of our upcoming games.
Okay.
Right? The first one we're going to start with is, since we just had Coach Catrona on, is the Saddlebrook Wallington matchup.
Yeah, Jen, Coach Catrona was right. Wallington, a lot of people do say, hey, they want to run the ball. They're physical. They got a big line. They're physical, but they do throw the ball, right? Robert Miller, they got a receiver, Joey Roman there. Running back, Abraham Hussein last week had a big game. So they do put up points, but they do throw it. I watched them versus the St. Mary's game versus the Woodridge game. They were in the game, for a while, putting up some points. But again, Saddlebrook's at home now. Vitiello, I can't even say his name. Vitiello, the quarterback. I think he'll make some plays. And listen, Cerciello is going to be all over the field. Listen, I could feel like 16 to 20 tackles this week in this game. So it's going to be. Listen, Wallington has the one win, but I think Saddlebrook at home, they're going to be jacked up for this game.
You mentioned Robert Miller. He has in the past 2 games his passing yards 163 yards versus Weehawken and 113 passing yards versus St. Mary. So he's really come on strong in his passing game in the last 2 games there. The other game we're going to preview really quickly is Pompton Lakes versus Elmwood Park. This is, I'm just looking for it on my sheet here. I have so many notes, it's hard to see here. Elmwood Park coming in with an early season win versus Lodi, right? Relying heavily on
Jesse
Stratz there, right? Pompton been struggling a little bit, 3 losses, but they got back on track last week against Manchester.
Yeah, again, it's the combination, Johan Fabian, the quarterback, and again, Redon Zeladini, not only as a running back, he catches the ball, he plays defense, he's always averaging between 8-12 tackles a game. But again, Elmwood Park's now at home. Listen, they're going to try to get the ball to Stratz. But listen, Pompton's always been that defensive team, physical kids. And again, just like you said, now they can get a nice little slate going to finish this season. The confidence coming off of that win. I think, Zeladini is going to have a big game in that.
And the next game we're going to preview really quickly before bringing in our next guest is the Weehawken Hawthorne game. Coach Catrona mentioned what a difficult schedule he had, and that's the same thing I wrote about Hawthorne. They got off to that hot 2-0 start, but then they piled up 4 losses. But listen to who their losses are to. Yep. Very similar to Saddlebrook, right? A good Butler team, Hasbrook Heights team, New Milford, and Secaucus, right? And then now you have Weehawken coming in after that heartbreaking loss in double overtime to Bogota, right? And then they come back and beat Wallington, but which says a lot about them.
Yeah. Hey, Dylan Mejia from Hawthorne last week, 15 for 143 yards on the ground. But just like you said, Weehawken, right? You talk about 60 points against Bogota. One of the most impressive teams last week was Bogota, right? In their upset win, at Woodridge. And Dylan Hablitz, the quarterback over there, and of course De La Cruz, the running back. I think De La Cruz last week had 145 and 3 touchdowns. Defensively, Evan Bankley. This is going to be a good game. This is good. Hawthorne's always good at home, right? They're physical. You got so much athletic ability, on this Weehawken team. This is going to be a very interesting game where, again, it could just set the tone for the rest of the season.
All right, we'll filter in some more games as we move along, but let's bring in our next guest. We are going to be joined by, let me bring in Eli. Hi, Eli. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good.
Good. We are joined by junior quarterback Elijah Davis from Beckton. So welcome, Eli. So good to have you.
Nice to be here.
Wait a minute. Is that a Jet thing on you behind you?
Yeah. Big time Jets fan.
Oh, I'm a big time Bronco fan, so I have no sympathy for you last Sunday. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's all right.
I'm not gonna lie. I was very worried. Very worried. I was saying this is ridiculous. They're gonna just get the W.
Yeah.
Intro for him, or you good?
Yeah,
oh, you good?
You're good.
All right. I'll start with you, Eli. Thank you for taking time out of this. Obviously, you have a big game this week coming up, so to take some time to come on the show, we appreciate it. You've had an unbelievable season. As your first year. You've played a little before, probably unexpectedly as a freshman, but your first year as the starting quarterback, you've done an exceptional job. So my first question is: you guys got off to a little rocky start. Week 0, week 1. What has the difference been with this offense the last 5 weeks?
We just have that next game mentality. We just keep looking forward. Our coaches always just rally behind us, and I think that's really helped us to be able to keep on going and move forward and look past our our first 2-week games.
Coach Mars chiming in saying some things are better left unsaid, Eli, saying as far as being a Jets fan. We got a comment from
Be proud.
Melvino from, I believe he's from Woodridge, saying Eli, hella tough. So that's from Melvino from on YouTube.
Eli, you know what? You guys are in a rare. I feel like this doesn't happen much in the NJIC that you guys saw Butler earlier in the season, right? So, what can you? Two-part question here. What can you take away from that first Butler game, and what you have to do differently?
We just take away that I just think we got to be just be a better mentality team. I feel like we just had to have a better mentality. If they score a touchdown, just forget about it, keep moving on to that next play. And I think just differently, what we have to do is just pick each other up as a team. I feel like we just gotta keep rallying behind the guys and just have trust in our coaches, that our coaches are doing the right thing, and have trust that everybody else is going to do their assignments.
By the way, we got to show this clip. That's the 97-yard pass versus Lyndhurst. So if no one has not seen it, I mean, probably everyone in NJIC has seen it, but we just wanted to get that in there for you.
Yeah.
But the next question is a question that I've wanted to ask you. And I'm glad Coach Marr is not on this show right now to answer this one. But Coach Marr, a couple of weeks ago, said, quote unquote, Eli needed to play my way before he played his way. So without saying too much, what did that mean?
It just means that stick to what my coach is saying, just stick to what my coach is saying, trust in what my coaches are telling me. And as we move on to the season, I gain more of the coach's trust. I have a little bit more freedom.
Eli, you probably needed some of that freedom these past few games, right? You have a knack for making big plays when the game is on the line. Is that something that's important to you?
It's very important to me, being able to just make that big play when you can. I think it just says something,
I have a two-part question. Okay. So, let's get back to this Lyndhurst game, right? So Lyndhurst just ties it up. You get the ball, you're on your own 3-yard line, right?
Mhm.
Coach obviously calls a pass play, right? Which, hey, great call. No one's expecting him to throw the ball there, right? Down late,
Yeah.
You don't want to turn it over. No one's expecting. So great call by obviously coach over there. So, what's your feeling where, hey, you get that play call, and then what are you thinking when you see, him running 97 yards? I mean, I saw your reaction on the field, but what's going through your mind? But then I got a follow-up question to that. Go ahead.
Yeah, when he calls that play, I mean, it's just it's go time. We practice all week in practice for just scenarios like that. Coaches do a great job of calling it up and drawing it up, and we just come out there and execute. So I mean, that was great. And then when I see him running, I was just like, touchdown. There we go.
Now I'm going to come back one more to you, and both games, the Lyndhurst game and the Garfield game, you're, as the quarterback, basically that game got left final thing to the defense for those 2-point plays. So you see both of those teams go for 2, try to, end it right there. What are you thinking while you're watching that?
I'm just getting ready, to go for just in case they do score. But I always have faith in my defense, 100%. But you always just got to stay ready.
All right, and my last question for you, Eli, is sorry, I lost it here for a moment. Talk a little bit about your offensive weapons that surround you and help you.
Well, I mean, first off, we got to talk about our offensive line. I mean, our offensive line is just absolutely amazing.
Smart guy.
Yeah, but we also have we have weapons everywhere. Receiver, we have Preston, we have Julian, we have Lucas Frank, of course, we have Malachi Johnson, we have Everett Bell in the backfield, we have Nico in the backfield. I mean, we just have weapons everywhere. That just helps me. A quarterback is only as good as his wide receivers are, I always say, because at the end of the day, they're the people that have to do all the hard work. I'm just throwing them the ball. So
I'm just gonna say this: watching a bunch of your games, right? We watched that first Butler game, watched you versus Lyndhurst, watched you versus the Garfield game, and you're an exciting player, man. I mean, I know. Listen, it's always Becton's defense, and your defense is phenomenal. But I'm telling you, you are just an exciting player to watch, and it's just exciting. And we're excited to watch you.
I feel like we've watched you grow.
Yeah,
freshman
yeah.
too. Because we know when you got, you were on when you got thrust into. That situation. So it's been so nice to see. So,
but real quick, 30 seconds. How has that helped you doing that in your freshman year? Where you're quarterbacking right now. Did that really help you? Like, you look back at it now, it's 2 years later, but how much did that help you?
I'm not gonna lie, that helped me a lot. I mean, if you guys don't know, I mean, I threw a pick my first ever varsity snap. So, I mean, just helped me realize the speed of the game, and I just got to be quick on my feet. And that really just helped me transition throughout. Just get the ball out quick, make quick reads, and then let your receivers do the rest.
Wait, are you wearing a suit?
No, not today.
Okay.
Not today. No.
I meant to ask that. Good. You look, you look like a button down. So very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Eli, thank you so much for joining us. It was such a pleasure to see you again. Good luck the rest of the season.
Good luck Friday night.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Good night.
Okay, Eli and Elijah Davis, and I tell you this: we talk about an exciting quarterback, and even in that Butler game, I don't know if you remember, we're watching. I was like, he's making plays left and right, running around, making plays, and it wasn't that game. Then it just went to the Lyndhurst game, went to the Garfield game, and listen, they throw it around a lot, right? They throw it around a lot back then, and for a coach, this isn't good. If the coach don't have confidence in as a quarterback, he's just not going to let a quarterback throwing it around like that. So, Coach Marr and that staff have a lot of confidence in Eli. You could see how much how much more mature he has been since freshman year. Again, just thrown in as a freshman, not just playing as a quarterback. So, just exciting player to watch. And again, just pumped to watch this game Friday night.
Well, let's sneak in 2 games to kind of break down before we move on to our next guest here. And the next game that we're going to discuss is one I'm excited to see. It's Glenrock Lyndhurst.
Whew.
I feel like these are 2 teams. Also, I mentioned before how Glenrock was like one catch away from maybe having a different, being the division champ. Lyndhurst kind of had the same fate.
Yeah.
They were
2 yards away. Yeah.
From being there. So, you got Brendan Burkhart quarterbacking for Glenrock, Matt Boysitz, Tyler Brassel. On Lyndhurst, you got Jason Bellinger, of course, Avery Cano. And defensively, and talk about also on our leaderboard for tackles, Chris Penny.
Yeah. Listen, this game, not only, NJIC stakes and stuff like that, and who didn't get into the playoffs or whatever, but there's playoffs on the line, whether it's seedings. Lyndhurst, needs a couple of wins to secure a playoff spot. And we're talking how good Lyndhurst is, and listen, a couple of losses, they might not be in the playoffs. So a lot of pressure on Lyndhurst. But like you said, Burkhart, Matt Boysitz. We saw Glenrock live. We watched that whole Glenrock Rutherford game. You know what they're going to do. They're going to come out. Hey, Burkhart's going to do his thing. They're going to run it with Boysage. They got, but again, they got to stop Cano, and Cano's going to do his thing. I think Lyndhurst is going to have to get to the air a little more with Bellinger and those guys, Jarvis and stuff like that. But like you said, Penny and those guys on defense, Coach Castellani, they're going to have their hands full. But and there's Dale Sipper saying from every game from now on, it's a playoff game. This is like a little mini playoff game.
Yeah.
So hey, I am excited. This is one of the better non-NJIC playoff games. Like, listen, a lot at stake here at Lyndhurst.
All right, and the next one we're going to preview is Cresskill at Powell Park. Powell Park comes in riding a 2-game win streak with wins over Elmwood Park and Lodi recently. Cresskill, on the flip side, was on a 3-game win streak and then lost their last 2 contests, but they're led by Jake Lewin.
And great point from Joe Merge. Again, Joe Merge, who does all the live streaming from the Lyndhurst games, is saying Glenrock stats don't wow you, but they just find the way to win. That's true. Mm-hmm. They've lost to Butler in the NJIC championship last year. Mm-hmm. Another 3-0 loss at Rutherford. So that's it.
I feel like
in 2 years
before, though, like especially this year, right?
Yeah.
Like that. They're like for that reason, they almost, I don't want to use word like fly under the radar a little bit, which sometimes as a coach you kind of like, Yeah.
Yep. A little different of styles here, right? You got Shane Armstrong, Tristan Bailey. They're going for 3 in a row now, Jen, right? We had Coach on last week. 2 in a row. They tried to get 3 in a row. They're home this week. Cresco coming off of 2 tough losses, right? They lost tough one to Rutherford this past week to Waldwick. It's what's their state of mind, right? Like, are they ready to, hey, again, they're still in a playoff hunt, right? So, they got to bounce back from that. They can't worry about the last 2 weeks. Hey, that's done. Get rid of it. Come back. You got obviously Jake Lewin, slings it around. Joey Connolly. You got Giella, Justin Sow over there, and Max Rayner. Again, another guy. We talked about Cerciello making tackles. This kid's always in the tackle leaderboard. Again, interesting one because you got a team again on a little down, and you got Powell Park. Hey, loving life 2 in a row. So listen, great little matchup. Joe's saying it's going to come down to who has the ball last in that Glen Rock versus Lyndhurst game is his prediction.
Yeah, could be. Well, let's bring in our next guest. Let me get him in here and introduce him to everyone. We are joined by Jaden Gonzalez, quarterback from Bogota. How you doing, Jaden?
We don't have
it. I'm muted.
There we go.
I'm
You're good.
How are you guys?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. Coming off a great game last week with 117 yards passing, including a passing touchdown, if not mistaken, a kickoff return as well. Is that correct for a touchdown?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. We just had Elijah Davis from Beckton on, and we were saying exciting player. And this is another exciting player because you talk a kid that does everything. And I just got to give you credits and props because you are all over the field, offensively, defensively, running the ball, throwing the ball. I mean, listen, hands down, if you have not seen this kid, this is one of the better players in this league. So we are excited to have you back on the show tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
My first question, we got another comment saying, let's go Jaden from YouTube. So you got a couple fans coming in. So after this huge win last Friday against Woodridge, do you guys feel like you guys can just play with anybody in the league in the NJIC?
Yeah, we thought that the whole year, even before our first game, we already knew like how we would play and like how our chemistry was gonna go into effect during these games, and we just build off that.
My question for you, Jaden, is 2 touchdowns, but also 9 tackles on defense versus Woodridge. You get it done on both sides of the ball. So my question is, do you like playing both sides? And then which one do you like better, the offensive side or the defensive side?
Nah, I love defense. That's always been my thing. Ever since my first year playing, I always like playing defense more than offense.
I love it. We had 2.
I tell you, that's scary though, because you're so good, damn good offensively. For you to say that, that's pretty good. We got Matthew Harris checking in, saying hello. All right, so I know last week was Woodridge, but we got to get back to 2 weeks ago, right? 61-60. We saw the score. We're like, what happened there, right? So you had a pretty decent game, only 7 touchdowns, right? Can you just talk about like how surreal that game was, and listen, how nice it was for you guys to come out on top of that game?
Nah, it felt like a movie. It wasn't real. Like it was just going back and forth, and it felt good to come out on top, especially after these couple of years when we've been losing to Weehawken, and it's just been a rivalry ever since.
Coach Case, you know what, JY, you're all right, is what Coach Case is saying.
Oh, Jaden with a Y and Jaden with an I, right? You guys have on the team. I love that.
Yes.
Jaden, tough Sea Caucus game this week. What do you guys have to do to get the job done?
We just gotta stick together, play our game, and I think we match up really good against them. So, hopefully we just stick together and play our game and trust our coaches.
Jaden, what's the rest of the goals for Bogota football the rest of the year?
Definitely make the playoffs, win these last couple 2 games, see where we make the seeding, and hopefully get a home playoff game, make it far, see what happens from there.
You know what? I'm sorry. I want to ask real quick. We had Dylan Cerciello about his. Oh, okay, your field. You're good. You take it.
We're on the same page there. I was going to say you guys have a new facility this year. It's been like, especially after last season where you guys had to play all of your games on the road technically, right? So what's it been like to have the new facility this year?
It's been good. We had a lot of people coming to our games, especially this Weehawken game. It was packed, and it made it way crazier. Even the score was lit up. Everybody was going crazy that game.
Oh,
see, awesome. Now this is what I love about it. I'm sorry.
Was there fans rushing the field?
Yeah, after the game, everybody came on the field.
That's awesome.
This is what I love about like the show where we get like respect, right? Thomas Negro saying Woodridge guy here, but mad props to this kid. Played an unbelievable game, tremendous athlete and competitor. That's just like that's what it's
that's
like all
great.
about.
Yeah.
And you know, like when you get props
Recognizing.
from like other people, I mean, let me ask you, how does that feel like getting the comment like that?
Nah, it happens all the time, but I really appreciate it. I like when I get feedback from other coaches.
That's awesome.
That's great. Jaden, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure to have you. We love watching you play. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Night.
You too.
Okay, Jaden Gonzalez, and you talk about a kid that does everything, Jen. We look at it. What did he rush for? What did he throw for? How many tackles? I mean, 7 touchdowns in that game 2 weeks ago against Weehawken. And again, listen, the Weehawken guys had stats too, and you know, Jen, when we broke it down and they were in the what was it, the Union Division? How many times did we come down to Bogota, Weehawken? You know, and Weehawken kind of got the better of them, but now it was like he said, they finally get a chance to take care of business. So that feels good for them. And listen, Coach Case is doing an unbelievable job over there. Listen, they're another team, Jen. Hey, they just lose a close game to St. Mary's, or you know what? Maybe they're going to the playoffs. So again, this is another team that can just play with anybody in this league. And what a tremendous, tremendous athlete Jaden Gonzalez is.
All right, before we move on to breaking down our NJIC semifinal games, we're going to just take a look ahead at some of the other Week 7 games here. So we're going to start with, since we just had Jaden Gonzalez on, we're going to go to the Bogota Sea Caucus game. You know, Bogota, as we just discussed, dominant performance last week. You know, Sea Caucus literally running behind Brandon Vega. What do you have?
Yeah, same thing. Vega and Pinto, that combination. We had them on earlier in the year. Chase, you know, Burke, don't count, don't worry, you know, sleep on him. He threw for 153 yards last week. And again, obviously, you got the one Jaden Gonzalez, Jenny, and you got the other Jaden Gonzalez, right? Him on defense, him making plays. Matt Harris, another guy that's always on the stats sheet for defense. This is going to be, I think, a physical game. Again, Sea Caucus at home, they're always tough. Again, they've lost some tough games to tough teams also. Pagoda is flying high. This is, again, one of the games, again, playoff implications for both of these teams. So, again, I'm excited to see this Friday night.
Yeah, and the other game we're going to take a look at is the Park Ridge at Hasbrook Heights game. I mean, I just feel like we've talked about so many Hasbrook Heights kids this year, right? This is going to be a great game as well. We got quarterback Nico Nipatella. You got Michael Napolitano, Brady Shine, Nick Haynes, Michael Collinari, you know, and then Park Ridge. So far this season, Patrick Randolph has rushed for 788 yards and has 13 touchdowns.
Jen, I'm going to tell you, listen, I watched that game versus St. Mary's in the rain. And again, listen, they're more of a, you know, 80, 90% run the ball team. And you know what? St. Mary's had trouble stopping them. I mean, Randolph is just a beast in there. Also, Sam Fasolo, 2 touchdowns last week, from A.N. O'Connor. Listen, this is a playoff game. You know, this is history, Park Ridge Heights. I remember we had Coach Del Calzo. He was mentioning that before. And you talk, again, Michael Collinari. I mean, this kid is a sophomore, Jen. He is in, we talk about defensive stat sheets and something like that. I mean, he's in double figures tackles. He's all over the field. I watched him in the Butler game. I mean, this kid's making tackle after tackle after tackle. He's only a sophomore, smaller kid, but I tell you, runs to the ball, tough as nails. The next 2 years, this kid's a major problem in the NJIC defensively, trying to block this kid. But like you said, Patrick Randolph, Nipatella, Brady Shine, right? Napolitano, the young sophomore. I mean, this is weapons all over. This is a playoff game. This is a playoff game this week. And again, it's going to be, when we make our picks later, this is a tough one to pick.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of tough ones to pick.
There's a lot one. But this is an exciting game.
The last game before we break down our NJIC semifinals is St. Mary's at New Milford. You could call this, not to disparage any other players, but Bruton versus St. Hilaire. I feel like they're two.
Well, so funny. Yeah. We had them last week on, right? We both had them on. They both came into the scene and bursted on the scene. And St. Mary's has Mort, all right. Evan Colon took over at quarterback. Now, obviously, they got Jonathan Mortez, Bruton in the backfield. Thomas Messina, who was the quarterback, moved to a wide receiver, is just unbelievable, making play after play. But listen, this New Milford team, they played Butler tough, right? We had David Smith on last week, and he said, listen, this is going to be a tough one, right? Obviously, you got Kobe St. Hilaire, 118 yards last week against Butler. But Max Kenny, their quarterback, and listen, their defense, Jesse Brophy, Daniel May, and Spencer Latali. They're going to have their hands full with this St. Mary's offense. But listen, we got two of the better backs in the NJIC going at it, and might have some scouts there watching these kids playing this week. So that's going to be a good one.
All right, we're going to try to pick up the pace because we're running a little bit behind
Okay.
schedule. So I want to make sure we move on. We're going to move on to our first game of the week matchup here, which is Woodridge versus Rutherford. So we have Coach Carbone and some of his players. So allow me to grab them in the room. we have a lot of people in the waiting room, so I want to make sure I grab the right people here before I introduce everyone here. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, thank you. I'm just making sure we got everybody. I'm just going to get us like this, Kurt, so I can see everybody first. We are joined by Coach Carbone of Woodridge Football, 4-1 Patriot Division champions, and he is joined by Nick Scalera, Michael Prado, and Chance Icavino. How did I do with names, guys? All right. I apologize if I didn't do them so well. We had a little change. We are joined by Michael instead of Chris, just so you're aware.
Yep.
Okay. All righty.
Coach, thank you so much for, and guys, thank you so much for taking your time out of, big week, we would say, coming up, right? Nice little game coming up. So it takes some time. We appreciate it. So, Coach, tough loss last week. So how fast did you have to have these guys to get over that loss and say, hey, forget it. But you know what? We got a big one this week with Rutherford.
I think these guys did a good job of, throughout over the weekend, obviously our first loss. So it's always kind of a tough thing to go through a little bit. I think for our guys, I think we were upset with the way we played. And credit to Bogota, they played very well that night and got the best of us. But, I think these guys got themselves ready, and it was easier to go into – it's easier to work with a group like this that gets themselves ready to go. And, again, credit to them. I think their focus level is where it needed to be. You have to watch that film. We did that. We didn't watch all of it. We just watched, cleaned up some of the mistakes. And, that's pretty much where we're at now. So we're ready to go. Rutherford is a very good team, and it's going to be a really good test and a challenge to see where we're at. So we're excited about it.
Coach, we got Big State Sports, who we're going to have on tonight to talk a little bit about the playoff games. They're saying we love Coach Carbone, so they're giving you a shout out from Big State Sports.
Those guys are great. They do a great job.
Glenn Wright is also saying Chance and Big Mike, so he's saying what's going on from Glenn Wright.
Nick, my question is for you. Coach mentioned obviously your matchup this week in the NJIC semifinals against Rutherford. What impresses you guys about Rutherford as a team?
They're a very tough team, very gritty. Their ability to run, pass, play defense is going to be overall a tough game.
I'm going to go to Mike, and I'm going to change this because I had Chris, so I'll go to Mike on this one, right? So just like Nick said, we watched that Rutherford Glenrock game, which ended in 3-0. But Rutherford kind of dominated that game, especially on the ground, had a 7-minute drive or an 8-minute drive, and just basically dominated up front. What's something you guys have to do defensively to make sure you guys are able to keep that running game and that physicality of Rutherford in check?
Nothing really special. Carbone always draws up a great defense. Just gotta play football. Stop the run. That's what football is.
And a Chance, I'm going to come to you. You guys have a lot of playmakers in the skill positions, just like Rutherford does. How important is that your skill guys outperform their skill guys on this weekend?
Just the same thing every week. Just trusting one another, doing our jobs, and that's really it. We know how much guys we have on our offense, and just trusting one another helps us perform.
Oh, and I'm going to correct you, Coach. I'm sorry. Huge wins over St. Mary's and Park Ridge. You guys ran the ball successfully, roughly 200 yards per game. Last week in your loss to Bogota, there was 21 yards rushing. So how can you guys get that rushing game back on track?
I think some things played into that factor from last week. we won't discuss about. But I think that we're back to where we need to be now, and so I think we'll have to execute up front like we've been doing all year. That's kind of been our bread and butter. Our guys up front deserve a lot of credit. They've really worked really hard, and they clear some lanes for those guys, and we got playmakers behind them. But I think we're going to be back to where we need to be. So.
Melvino's checking in and Ilium's checking in. I'm going to go to all three guys, Jen. You just call them out with order.
Yep.
So just a simple question. Just how excited are you guys to have this opportunity to be in the NJIC semifinals?
We'll go Nick and then Mike and then Chance, please.
Very exciting. We played in the NJIC championship versus Rutherford my freshman year. I had a tough loss, so I'm just excited to play them again.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I was at the game Nick's freshman year. Tough game. Just gotta get it back.
I'm pumped. They're a really good team. We're a good team. It's gonna be fun football.
Nick Mabel is saying Mike Prado, defensive maniac. And then Joe Merge is saying, Joe Merge from Lyndhurst, Prado has the good genes and the Hudson County in his blood. I played with his father. Let's go, Woodridge. Need a big win this week. And that's from a Lyndhurst guy.
Yeah, again,
So-
more crosstown love there.
All right, this is my most interesting question of the night. Is that Woodridge student section going to be traveling to Rutherford this week?
I hope.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Any what's the word? Any theme you think, or you don't know? You don't know yet.
Just Woodridge gear, I think.
Woodridge here, nice.
Just get to the championship game. That's the theme. That's the theme.
Get it done. Guys, thanks so much, Coach and Chance and Mike and Nick. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure to have you guys on, and best of luck to you this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
There's
Thank you. Good
Woodridge,
night.
Jen, and again, listen, this team full of playmakers, right? Rutherford full of playmakers. This is going to be a match that's just, hey, it's going to be added. And I love Coach's answer where we're going to fix that running. Don't worry, we'll be back to where because that is their blood, that is their bread and butter, right? Because everything off that run game, right? Rios in that run game, and now now you can go. Play action. You can throw off of that where it's just, listen, it's a nightmare when you can't stop their running game. And now you have to worry about their pass. It's a totally different, totally different team. I think, like you said, I think Coach said it's going to happen. I think we're going to see too, that run game back on Friday night.
I don't see our Rutherford players who are scheduled. I know the virtual waiting room has been a little full, so I don't know if they're trying to get in.
Okay.
I don't see them in there. I do see that people are trying. So we're going to go Rutherford, then Becton and Butler.
Okay.
So if your time is a little bit later, if you want to maybe if you don't mind leaving and coming back in, maybe that would be better. I don't know if Evan and Dave are trying to join. So let me see. Oh,
Evan's coming in.
There's Evan. So let me see. And nope. So let me get Evan in at least here so we can get Rutherford.
Okay.
Hey Evan, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. We're joined by Evan Diaz, a junior lineman from Rutherford. Real quick, Evan, do you know if Dave is trying to get in or you don't know?
Yeah, I'll text him to hit that join button.
Okay.
And we just, again, if we could just have anybody who maybe has a little later time to step out for a moment so that he could get in, that might help as well. So, let's see. We have there he is. Perfect. Okay. And then we are also joined from Rutherford by Dave Bogosian. How did I do, Dave? Bogosian. Okay, sorry. Thank you.
She gets them all wrong,
I
Dave.
do,
She gets
do.
them all
That's okay.
Congratulations, guys. 6-0 Liberty Division champions. Congratulations and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations. Excited to watch this game on Friday night. So my first question, I'm going to start with Evan, is you guys have been a staple in these NJIC playoffs, right? Ever pretty much since they started. Rutherford, not every year, but majority of the year, been in it, won it. After missing out on last year, how nice is it to be back this year, Evan?
It's great. It's a fresh start for all of us because everyone except for Miles didn't play in it. So it's going to be a great time.
Dave, my question is for you. Woodridge has a lot of playmakers, starting with their quarterback, Chris Rios. What do you guys have to do defensively to slow down that explosive offense?
I think defensively we have to do the same things we always do. We really just have to read our keys, attack, all hats to the ball, and I think we'll be good.
I'm going to stay with Dave. You guys have been doing a great job, winning up front offensively and defensively, and especially offensively. We watched that Glen Rock game, and it was just, you guys had, what was it, like an 8-minute drive, a 9-minute drive against a great Glen Rock team, right? So, how important is it for you guys to win up front offensively and defensively Friday night versus Woodridge?
As our coaches say, it always really starts up front. If we can't block, that's really what football games come down to, both sides blocking and tackling. And it really does start with the line. If we want to get the ball moving on the ground or in the air, we gotta do what we're taught.
And Evan, I'm going to come back to you. What are some things that Woodridge does well that you guys have to make sure you're prepared for?
They can scramble, run the ball pretty good. Their line's pretty big. Other than their left tackle, I'm pretty sure they all played last year against us. And you just got to make sure our corners and our safeties can hold down their secondary and their receivers.
I am going to go back to Evan on this one. How nice is it going to be playing in front of that huge crowd in your building on I'll say building stadium, whatever you want to say, in Rutherford on Friday night?
It's going to be great. Our fans always bring the energy, and we kind of feed off it.
A couple comments. Melissa saying, "Let's go Dogs." Keith Brugman, Jen, can I ask a question from the audience?
Yeah,
We'll start.
absolutely.
We'll do both. We'll start with Evan. Both of you guys answer. He said he's actually commenting from Montana. He's saying, "I'd love to know what has been your biggest challenge this year."
Definitely figuring out what pieces we need to fill and working on the simple stuff.
Okay.
And Dave, what do you think?
I'd say the same thing with a real young team. There's been a lot of pieces we have to figure out. Who goes where, and we put in a new defense this year too, and I think we've done a good job too of tackling that since June.
Yeah, and Dave, my next question for you is, what would it mean for Rutherford to get back another NJIC championship?
I think we've been given a really great opportunity. I mean, we can't take for granted. Not a lot of teams get here, and to be able to play at home and make it to an NJIC final, which if we can make it to that, we'll be at home too. It's really, especially since we didn't make it last year. I'm glad to be a part of this team.
Nice. How special is it in your senior year, Dave, as well?
It feels good. It does.
Yeah. There's always a little something extra special when it's your senior year, right? You have a little, you have a different perspective, in your senior year. So Evan and Dave, thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure to have you guys on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Good luck Friday night, guys.
Thank you.
Good night.
Have a good night.
You too.
You too. All right, so there we have our
Real quick, we got a comment from YouTube. Rutherford defense has to fill the gaps. Woodridge trio, Simmons, Rios, and Calento, hard runners who will hit you.
Oh, well, you know what? That's a great little segue to your keys of the game. Let's
Okay.
start with Woodridge really quickly. So your first key for Woodridge to be successful is to get their running game back on track.
Yeah, listen, we watched them all year long, right? Simmons, Rios, that game, I'm saying, that combination, once that gets going, now it opens the floodgates because you got to bring people in the box. You got Scalera, Icavino out there, the receivers, the tight end, stud tight end. I mean, he's, gigantic. He could run. So, hey, listen, not a great outing last week. Like Coach said, there were reasons for it. Get it back on track. You must be able to run the ball versus Rutherford.
Second key is to make Rutherford one-dimensional.
Listen, Woodridge has weapons, but so does Rutherford has weapons, right? We saw what Rutherford did with their run game against Glen Rock. 8-minute drive, 9-minute drive. I mean, just totally controlled it. I think Joya had something like 160 yards in that game. you're not going to fully stop that run game, but try to make them one-dimensional. Try to stop that running game. And again, here's the problem, though. You got Miles Balkin there. You got, Nunziata there, Weber. So you got tons of weapons on the Rutherford side, too. So you can't let Rutherford be able, want to do whatever they want to do. Try to make them one-dimensional. Try to stop the run. And, hey, you know what? Take your chances. And, listen, make them one-dimensional. Make them throw the ball.
All right, and your last key for Woodridge is that their skill guys must outperform the Rutherford skill guys.
Again, Scalera, Icavino, right? We got, Simmons, Malvet, all those guys, especially guys outside. A lot of times in these, championship playoff games and stuff like that, it's going to be like one-on-one. And listen, Coach Carbone just might dial it up and, hey, one-on route, go route, post round. You got to make a play. And those guys, they got to make they got to make plays. Listen, they're great athletes. Rutherford's got great athletes, but sometimes you just got to be better. Hey, the ones who make the plays in these games, those the team that's going to win.
All right, and the Rutherford keys to the game. First, get after Rios in the pass game.
Yeah, he's elusive. We had Eli on before. We had Gonzalez on before. And Rios is another one like that. This kid is very athletic. He's, like you said, big in the run game. But his passes, too, listen, he can throw from the pocket. But when he's on the run and he's scrambling, he's going to make plays. So you know what? Hey, you got to get after him. Put pressure on him. Don't let him get comfortable in there and hitting these big time receivers they got. Get after them.
All right. And your second key for Rutherford is that they must wear Woodridge down with the run game.
We saw it a little bit with Pagoda, right? Pagoda was able to run the ball on Woodridge last week. We saw what Rutherford did with Glenrock. We just had, two of the big boys up front from Rutherford. That's what they are. We saw them a couple years ago live. And what did we say? Man, this team is physical. Rutherford is physical. Rutherford has a lot of skill kids, but their first and foremost mentality is we are a physical team. We are going to run the ball. So, hey, wear them down. Again, 3 yards, 4 yards. It's just, it wears on you when you're on a defense and you're just giving up first down after first down. You're doing 8 minutes, 9 minutes. So wear them down.
And your last key is, I love this one, big game Balkin.
Hey, he did it as a freshman already, right? It's, like they said, Scalera said he played it as a freshman. He was in that game with Balkin and stuff like that. Listen, you got thrown in. Hey, tremendous NJIC team gets thrown in, hits some big plays as a freshman. You win an NJIC championship. So he's been there. He's done it. And you know what? Throughout his career in the big games, he's always come through. So you know what? Another big game, Balkin, come through, make some big plays.
All right, and moving on to our second game of the week, we're going to bring in players and coaches from both Beckton and Butler. So it's our second NJIC semifinal matchup. So let's actually get in. We have everybody in the waiting rooms. Let me get everybody in here again correctly. We're a little behind. So again, thank you. We got Coach, we got Patrick, we got Lucas, and then do I see I'm missing Everett here, so I'm not sure. Hi, Coach. How you doing? Oh, can you hear us?
Does Coach hear us?
Can you guys?
Do you guys hear us?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Coach realize he's in.
I'm not sure. We might have to remove Coach. Let Coach get back in.
Let me do it.
Coach
this.
always looks relaxed when he comes on this podcast, doesn't he? Like nothing's bothering him. He's just relaxed. Like, no big deal. He only had a couple of 2-point plays going forward. So we'll skip Coach and we'll get Coach back in.
Lucas and Patrick, you guys are becoming like regulars on the show. I feel like it's nice to have you guys back.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We're joined by Patrick Lynch and Lucas Frank. I'm not sure, guys, if Everett is trying to get in.
Because the room is full. That's the problem.
That's the thing. So I'm not sure if he's trying to get in. But again, if somebody is coming on a little bit later, if you guys don't mind just stepping out for a moment and then rejoining, that won't be a problem. And let me try to get Coach Marr back in again and see how that goes. Coach, can you hear us?
No, Coach is.
I can barely hear you guys, but I hear you.
Okay. All right. Well, we're joined by Coach Jackie Marr of Beckton, 5-2 Colonial Division champions, and he is joined by 2 of his 3 captains, Patrick Lynch and Lucas Frank, and we're working our best to get Everett in. Again, if somebody wants to just leave the room, I promise we'll get you back in if we can make room for Everett. Thank you so much. You gonna start us off?
I'm going to start with Coach. First of all, we got a comment from, again, Thomas Negro saying, Patty, congratulations on Defensive Player of the Week, your Wildwood buddy.
Oh yeah,
So-
thank you. Yeah.
All right, Everett. There's Everett joined. All right, is Coach back? All right, I'm gonna skip Coach for now. We're gonna go to Everett. All right, Everett. Great game last week. Congratulations. You guys, at least the past couple of weeks, you guys had nice, easy games. Nothing to worry about, right? Just no stress free. So I want to make sure, guys. How's Coach's health been? Like, has he been okay? Like his health through his last couple of games. I mean, he's always smiling here, but it's Tuesday, and how was he Friday and Saturday? You okay, Coach? Check, making sure you're all right.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
Last two Friday nights have been Heartbreak City. Heart Attack City, I should say. But
Yeah.
I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay.
Okay. So, Coach, my first question is another week, another thriller. Can you talk a little bit about the resolve of this football team?
Yeah, like we never give up. These kids, they're very resilient. We try to put them in position to succeed, and sometimes they just put themselves into a position to succeed, and they make plays, and they make plays at the biggest moment, and that's why we're got 2 1-point wins in the past 2 weeks.
Patrick, I'm going to come to you. Your second game in a row that's come down, as Coach said, to a 2-point conversion. What's going through the defensive minds? Like, what's your mentality in those moments?
If I'm going to be honest, you're not really thinking. It's a split second thing. We're going 100 miles an hour, and it's over just like that. And that's really it. Yeah.
Everett, I'll come to you. We all know it starts and ends with David Smith for Butler, right? Tremendous player. So how do you guys even try to slow him down Friday night?
That's their quarterback?
That's their quarterback.
Yeah. Just do our job. That's it. Any defensive question is really just do your job, and then let the chips fall where they may.
Love it.
And Lucas, I'm going to come to you. Offensively, you guys are going to need to help out your defense. What do you guys have to do to score some points against Butler?
I would say the first thing is establish a run game. I feel like when we get a run game going, our offense is very explosive, and we make those big receiving plays, those big touchdown plays that make a big factor for the games.
I got to tell you this. I like him because what my key number one is going to be for Beck. It's going to be get that run game going. So that's my first number kid. And I knew Coach had the palsy package in with Lucas. I knew he had it in. I knew it. I knew he brought it back. But I don't even know what question I have so many questions.
You know what? I'm actually.
Yeah, you're up.
So,
I got so many questions. I had to go off.
All right,
script
I
on
know.
that.
Yeah, Coach, I'm going to come to you. Does it help that you guys have already played Butler in week 1? You've seen them live. You know how physical they are. Do you feel like that's an advantage going into this weekend's game?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's actually the third time in a calendar year that we're playing them. So we are very familiar with them, and they're with us. Even with the new cast of characters, it's the second time playing them for since the beginning of the football season. So does it help us? Yeah. They do what they do. They're very well coached. We know what they're going to do. I think there's always another wrinkle they put in every week. So hopefully they don't surprise us too much. But they're tough up front. Their quarterback's probably the best player in the conference. Slow him down for sure.
All right, so I'm going to ask all the guys this. So Jen, you give me the order, okay? We all saw what Riggins looked and sounded like 2 weeks ago, right? What do you think it's going to look like Friday night?
Why don't we go Patrick, Lucas, and then Everett?
I'm expecting the same, if not a bigger turnout, just because of the weight of the game, like what lies on it. Yeah.
For me, they're going to be a big factor. Having the fans on our side is going to be a major help for us.
I mean, I've been saying it all week. We gotta drag them deep into the jungle. We gotta drag them deep into the jungle and then see how they play on a green field.
That's right. No blue turf. No blue turf this year.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Coach, we really appreciate your time again. Lucas, Patrick, and Everett, thank you as well for joining us another time. We really appreciate it. Great job so far this season, and good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks
Good
again
luck,
for
guys.
having us.
Good luck Friday.
Good luck.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so our Becton buddies are back. It's a weekly Becton show with them, but they're on every week now with
I know.
us.
I feel like we've had the
We've
the
had them
Becton
on.
captains a bunch. I love it.
I was just worried about Coach because I know what Coach had to be going through those last 2
Oh,
Friday
my gosh,
nights.
please. It's
a
like,
lot of relax, and I bet no housework, no chores over the weekend. That's where you could play the too much. I got to rest this week. I have too much to do. Some film work. Jimmy Eiserman saying hello, by the way.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to move on to Becton's opponent
Okay.
in that NJIC matchup, and that is Butler. So let's bring in Coach Luciani and a few of his players here. Hi, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, Jen and Kurt.
What's up, Coach?
And Coach is joined by Yadi Perez, Peyton Kibbers, and Andreas Harlow. How did I do, guys? I'm so sorry if I didn't do so
You did
well.
good.
Okay.
You're good.
All right. Thank you. I think they're just saying
She
that.
botched the Rutherford
I
name,
did,
so she got one of them right.
But Coach, congratulations, 6-0, and boys, congratulations, 6-0 Meadowlands Divisions champion. So congrats.
Thank you.
Likewise, congratulations. Thank you for joining us. Coach, I'll start with you. Becton, 5 wins in a row. What's different about this Becton team, you think, since the last time you guys seen them?
They've gained a bunch of experience on offense, that's for sure. They've gained some explosiveness, and their kids are playing with confidence, and being under their coaching staff. Jack has brought his kids along as you'd expect, so they've certainly improved in every facet of the game, and they're going to be a worthy opponent for sure.
Yanni, I'm going to come to you on this next one. We had Coach and David on, I want to say multiple times, actually, and we talked about, that first game versus Becton, right? And they both kind of said how offensively they felt the team made some mistakes. So, it was the first game of the season for you guys. How important is it to correct those mistakes? And do you feel like you guys have, come a long way since then?
Yeah, honestly, we've been practicing very hard. Our guys have been putting a countless amount of hours in, and we will hopefully the results will all pan out and we'll win.
We got a comment from a Chris saying, congratulations, Coach Luciani, on Coach of the Week. So well deserved. So congratulations on that,
New York
Coach.
Giants
We saw
Coach
that.
of the Week. Congrats, Coach.
I'm going to go to Peyton. Elijah Davis, obviously quarterback of Becton. We had him on earlier in the show. Major threat scrambling, right? Elusive, make some plays. How important is it to keep him in the pocket?
It's very important. I mean, we've been going over it all fast practice today, and I think that if we all do our jobs, we'll be able to make something happen. So.
And my question is to Andres. Your running game has been like a machine lately. How important is it for you guys to establish that run game versus Becton?
It's really important. Everyone has to win up front and do their assignments every play so that we could clear a hole for Yachty because he's a hard runner. So we have to establish the run game.
You're up again.
Oh, I'm up again. I'm sorry. To Coach, I'm going to come back to you. We asked the same question to Coach Marr. You guys did already see the team, and he pointed out actually not just earlier this year, but 3 times in a calendar year as well, with last year's matchup in the semifinals also. But how much does it help that you've played them already?
We're pretty familiar with Becton. I think Jack did a pretty good job of laying out exactly how often we played. And the thing that I appreciate about Becton is, they do what they do, and I think that's the hallmark of a really well-coached football team. They have their wrinkles. They do what they need to do against opponents week to week, but the DNA of the offense and defense doesn't change for the most part. So, I don't know if it helps us or hurts us. I just know that they're going to be ready to play on Friday. That's for sure.
All right, I'm going to ask this one. First, we got a comment saying Peyton is a beast. Let's go, dogs. I'm going to go to all 3, Jen, so you just call them out.
Sure.
What would it mean for you guys to get back to this NJIC championship game and win it again?
We'll go Yachty and then Andreas and Peyton.
Yeah, it would mean a lot because everyone says that, oh, last year's team is so much better than this year's team, but we would like to prove all the doubters wrong.
It would mean a lot. I mean, we're a new team. I think we're very strong. We're strong up front, and I think that we could definitely bring it home, and something that we want to do all season.
Yeah, it's our last year playing together, so we want to go out with a bang. We want to play hard and finish strong.
Coach and Yadi and Andres and Peyton, thank you guys so much for
Wait,
joining us.
we're not done.
Oh, we're not
I
done?
can't let Coach go without telling him one thing. What are you crazy?
I thought maybe we were going to save you, Coach. I'm sorry.
Get through Friday night and get your mind focused for next Wednesday. And then then you take next Wednesday. It starts, Coach. It starts.
I got a cigar ready for the game, Kurt.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck this weekend.
All right.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, the Butler Bulldogs, the defending NJIC champs. Listen, they're going to be tough on Friday night. They don't have their blue turf. It's a little different that they're going to go on the road. But again, you know what I think helps them too, Jen? They just went to New Milford, right? In a tough New Milford game.
yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Kobe St. Hilaire, they seen him, seen that run game. And again, Heights, right? They just played that Heights game where both teams have played very tough teams. So looking forward to it.
Let's get to our keys of the game here.
Okay.
We got a lot of people waiting, Kurt. We got a student athlete waiting who has
let's get him
has
in.
to get to sleep tonight. So all right,
do
Becton's
'em
keys
quick.
to victory, right? The first is your first key, Becton has to run the ball.
Has to run the ball, not only just for offensively, just to help their defense, right? It can't be 3-and-out, get back on the defense now, try to stop Yadi Perez, David Smith, and that group, right? Establish the run game when they could run it. Hey, more people come up. We know what Eli can do, but they have to get a run game going Friday night.
All right, and the bend don't break defense.
Again, listen, this Butler offense is probably the best offense, obviously, in this NJIC. Very hard to stop. So you're not going to completely shut this team out. But again, bend, don't break. If they're going to go, again, shorten the game. So if they, again, I say it all week, go on a long drive. Now you play defense, get a turnover and stuff like that. And again, if they score, let it be a long drive. No big plays for Smith and that group.
All right, and the last key to victory for Becton is win the turnover battle.
They did the first game, right? They did the first game. That's why they hung around, right? They were right there at half in that third quarter. I think they had 2 or 3, I want to say 3 turnovers defensively. But hey, steal possessions. Again, your object, their object, keep the ball out of that Butler's offense. Win the turn. Don't turn it over. But, that's key one. Don't turn it over. Don't give them the possession. But you guys steal a couple possessions, get a turnover or 2.
All right, and let's move on to the Butler keys to victory. Win the 1v1 routes defensively.
What Becton has been doing a lot, and hey, they did it 97 yards. They did it last week with Malachi Johnson and Garfield, is hey, go routes, right? Whether it's double moves or just go routes, it's one-on-one, throw it up and go make the play. They're going to do that this week. Becton is definitely going to, why not? It's working. They have the athletes to do it. The Becton D-backs have to be able to win those. If they're locked up one-on-one, the D-backs have to make plays on that.
Butler's second key to victory, according to you, is be better than September 25th.
Listen, again, when they didn't turn the ball over, right? They moved the ball, they ran the ball, they scored their points. They don't, I'm not going to say they don't have to change anything up because, of course, you're always going to throw wrinkles in. But listen, just what killed them early in that game were the turnovers. Just be better. Just don't turn it over, right? Hey, be better. We always had David Smith on. He says, put something on his wrist. That's what's going on his wrist this week. Be better than 925, right? Be better. You guys are going to be fine. Just play better than that offensively. They'll be fine.
And your last one is speaking of David Smith, let number 1 do his thing.
Listen, what I say, what was it with Balkin before? Big game Balkin. Listen, let number 1 do his thing. Like they said, again, this is probably the best player in the NJIC, right? Hey, give him the ball, let him do his thing, just like he did in every game, but even in that Heights game later. And again, he has Perez and those guys to help him and stuff like that. But hey, when the money's on the line, that ball's going to be in David Smith's hands, whether it's running, throwing, just big game, let him do his thing.
All right, I'm going to make a little change in the lineup, if
Okay.
that's okay. I'd
Call
to
an
get-
audible.
I'd like to I'd like to get our top dog of the weekend because he is preparing for, his season. I want to make sure that he is not sticking around for too long. He is put the student athlete, probably has homework to do as well. So our top dog of the week is sponsored by Puppies and Tattoos Dog Grooming, a dog groomer for all breeds with locations in North Arlington, Montclair, and Fairlawn, as well as a mobile grooming service. And our Bo's top dog of the week is Dylan Ferrara of Waldrick with 237 rushing yards this week, 78 passing yards, and 4 total touchdowns. So let's bring Dylan in and talk to him a little bit about not just this performance, but his season in general. Oh, hey, Dylan, are you there? I know he's been waiting. Oh, there he is. How are you?
Yep, I'm in here, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for waiting. We apologize. We're a little behind schedule, but
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
congratulations on being our top dog of the week and a great game. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Dylan, Jen thinks that you guys are like her, going to sleep at 8:30 at night. You guys are up all night. I mean, Jen, 10 o'clock. We got to get these guys there. So, come on.
I'm like,
Yeah, I've been up watching this whole thing. I've just been excited to get on.
That's it. But Dylan, welcome back. We had you last week, but congratulations on obviously being the top dog of the week. You did listen. We could probably pick you a couple of weeks, but hey, we wanted to pick you this week. Congratulations, you deserve it. And again, you're having an outstanding season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm going to start with this one because saw this in the statistics this week. One of the top rushers in the state of New Jersey. What does it mean to you and your teammates when, again, it's not all about stats and stuff like that, but when you see that, how does that make you guys feel that, hey, like, look at what we're doing, as a rushing offense?
I think I would say the first 2 games of the season, we weren't really able to get like much going on the ground. We were having a hard time. Our line was really figuring it out. Me and my running back partner, Luch, was really figuring out how to get downhill and to make the best plays. And I think being able to get up there, although like it's my name that's there, it goes to show that the entire team together, whether it's my line moving boys up front, it's my running back partner, Luch, really getting downhill, causing distractions. I got guys going in motion left and right just for window dressing and stuff. I think it's really everybody combined. It just shows how hard we're working.
I love that. That's a great. And you had Kurt at window dressing.
Window dressing, baby. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Dylan, you guys have rolled off 3 in a row now. So I have a 2-part question for you. Number 1, how do you keep that going versus a really tough Garfield team that you guys have coming up? And then how big of a game is this for your potential playoff chances?
I think really to make sure that we keep the energy up, we know that every single game is a playoff game from here on out. There's no way, there's no other option except for winning out. But I think also being the underdogs in most of these games, like we're not going into any of these weeks thinking like, hey, we're going to go crush this team. We're focused on getting the job done, playing our rules and playing Waldick Warriors football, nothing else. And knowing that this week's going to be a playoff game, it's really you got to take it week by week for these next 2 weeks. I mean, we're in the film room as a team. We're studying, we're checking up on guys. I mean, even today we're setting rules. If you don't watch at least 25, 30 minutes of film, you're not practicing tomorrow. Like we are making sure that everyone is on top of their stuff and taking it as seriously as possible.
I love that. Yeah. And I'm sure your coach, when your players are holding each other accountable, that's big. That's great to hear.
So, Dylan, talking about Garfield, right? We watched them versus Becton and stuff like that. But what do you think, Garfield? What are some things that Garfield does well defensively?
Defensively, I think Garfield has a great defensive line. I mean, I watch their rush over and over again. I'm watching guys, they get off the ball quick, they're firing out, and it's really more of just a grit thing. I know they're a gritty team, and they're not gonna they take blows. You're gonna punch them in the mouth a couple times, but they're not gonna lay down and die. And I think that's the biggest thing we got to focus on.
Dylan, at the Kurt's first question, talked a little bit about your rushing game, right? When you guys get that rushing game going, do you have this feeling of no one can stop us?
I think that definitely when we start to hit things right and we're hitting the hole and we're finding like the grooves, once we start picking up momentum, we know that it's a freight train rolling.
And I'm going to say this, and we'll have one of our guest picker is a defensive guru, Coach Breslin. But, I always say to Jen, it's like you're helpless. Like if you can't stop a run game as a defense, you're just helpless. It's just like you're coming out and you're just looking, it's like, get me, just let's score, get me off the field. Like there's nothing you can do. And listen, when you guys have a ground game like you guys have, it's just very hard to stop. But I want to ask you a question as a quarterback, because you could throw it too. You're just not a runner. What do you like doing better, running it or throwing it?
I'm going to be honest with you. Going into the season, I thought the best part about me was able to really get in the film room and like get on the whiteboard to draw stuff up, like recognize some coverages. I work really hard with my coach. Like, hey, recognizing the too high shell, cover 3 men. But I'm going to be honest, like there's something about just knowing I'm running downhill, going through, pushing the pile and getting the feet moving. That's really what I'm looking forward to.
Dylan, awesome. I'm going to say this. I just feel like we have a future coach on here with
yeah.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's anything that interests you, but you.
Or if he could be like our analyst. He can come on the show and be like our analyst, start breaking stuff down. I love it.
That's what I'm looking to go to college to do. I'm looking to go try to at least play a couple years, and I really want to go get into coaching staff.
Nice.
Oh, there you go.
Well, you know what? You seem like a natural. So
make sure you get a running quarterback like you. So,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Like they always say, like that's why Peyton Manning's going to be a bad coach. He can never coach because it's like no one could do what he could do.
God,
so
yeah.
you better make sure you get a running quarterback because you'll be getting. It'll be nuts if you don't have one. So if you coach, get a running quarterback.
Dylan, congratulations again on being our top dog, and good luck to you the rest of the season.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Good night.
Thank you.
Okay, Dylan Ferreira and Waldwick. And listen, we said it before, most dominant team, team hitting their stride. This team, when you can run the ball like that, Jen, and he said, listen, he says it, we all say it. It's if you can't stop the run, you are in trouble. And Waldwick, they run the rock.
Well, let's talk about their matchup really quickly coming up before we bring in our next guest. We have Waldwick at Garfield. Waldwick 4-3, Garfield 4-3. Waldwick 3 victories in a row. I picked them as my team that I think is peaking at the right time right now. They just had that dominant performance over Cresskill. And then you have Garfield, who has 4-3, but 2 of their losses, one just that heartbreaking loss to Becton and by 1 point, and then you have their first opening week game with the 3-point loss to Dumont.
Real quick, our guest picker said we never sent him a link, so we have to send him a link.
Okay,
so that's one.
While you're doing, yeah.
Colin Williams saying that's my quarterback.
That's on you, by the way, but go on.
I know. I'll take the hit on that one, Coach Breslin. Listen, this game comes down to what's Garfield's state of mind, right, Jen? They had a heartbreaking loss, for a division championship, loss within, they went on a 19-play drive, lost, I think, 23 seconds left. They went for 2. They just missed the 2-point conversion. Their quarterback got hurt. What's the status of McCullough this week? So listen, we know what Coach T is going to get them up, but, they can't mess around this week. They're going to have this running game coming right at them. So they better throw that Becton game away and get ready to play on Friday night because you're getting a team that's going to come right at you. Of course, we said Dylan Ferreira, right? Him and Mayer, Luciano Mayer, in that backfield together. And Brian Rock defensively for that team too. Listen, this is going to be a good one. Again, it's what's Garfield's mentality and how can Garfield bounce back? Again, they're a younger team, right? That loss hurt, right? Like, how can those guys get up and ready to play right away and say, hey, we're back and, we still don't have the hangover from that Becton game.
And our last week 7 game that we want to give a little breakdown of is 1-5 Manchester at 0-7 Lodi in their crossover game. Manchester has consistently put up some points on the board. They haven't won since their week 0 game. But, they put 14 on Rutherford. They put 14 on Waldwick, 21 versus Cresskill. I feel like their record is not really indicative of the type of team they are. And Lodi last week, quarterback Emron Kwasami with 247 passing yards, threw for 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, Kwasami's been having big games. He played well versus the Garfield game too. And Aiden Salazar, 171 yards receiving with 2 touchdowns. But like you said, Manchester, right? Tyree Gunthrop is the guy. 85 yards rushing. He's up there every week. Talented player, Matthew Hernandez defensively. Aiden Thomas. This is going to be a 1-5 and 0-7 matchup, but 2 teams where they have the talent on there. And again, Lodi is playing hard every week. Again, I watched them in that Garfield game. So, listen, it's going to be an exciting game. It's going to be, 2 teams that think they can win this game.
Yeah.
So, be an exciting game.
All right. Well, our next guest, we're going to bring in Zach from Big State Sports. So, hey, Zach, how you doing?
Hey, Kurt. Hey, Jen. Nice to meet you guys.
You too.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We love what you guys do for New Jersey high school sports. We really do. We're two former varsity coaches, and you just provide coverage to so many teams, and we watch it all the time. We just have to let you know. So, so personally, we're thankful.
We really appreciate that.
So I was wondering, before we get started, if you could just tell us a little bit about. I know you started as Morris Sussex Sports, I believe, back in 2007. So how you guys kind of came to be Big State and where you are today.
Yeah, so it all started with our CEO George. He just high school sports fanatic. He won a state championship in 1990 with Hanover Park, and then he just always loved it. Never got away with this. Never got away from it. So started writing a blog, and then was like, you know what? I think I could broadcast some of these games. So I came on in 2021. That's when we really started hitting our stride. We would do like maybe about 4 or 5 football broadcasts every Friday. We do much more than football, but now we're doing. I mean, this weekend we have 18 concurrent football games just on Friday. And then we've got more on Saturday, along with soccer, volleyball, all that. We're big into hockey. But yeah, a couple years ago, we're like, we're going outside of Morris and Sussex a lot, and we have some big aspirations. We actually have a deal with the NJIC now. We have the second right of refusal for all state playoff games. So whatever NJ.com doesn't want, and they've got a handful of crews, we can fill in the rest. So keep an eye out. We're going to have a lot of NJIC teams on our radar. And I'm actually glad you guys brought this up because we just started – a lot of different publications will have a top 20. It's all the big schools. Your Bosco's, Bryn Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, let's give the small schools some love too. So we have a separate one for groups 1 and groups 2. And we've got Butler as our number 5. We've got Rutherford as our 13. Hasbrook Heights as our 19. In our next 7, we've got Pagoda. So, we've given a lot of NJIC teams some love. And actually this year we've been lucky enough. We've been the home for Woodridge and for Garfield's home game. So that's been a big step for us too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zach, thank you so much for taking your time, taking time out for coming on. And I got to say, like what Jen says is two funny things. One, first of all, you guys, it's like a professional broadcast, like from the beginning, like how you look at it, like what's the weather. It's like, not to throw shade at some other people. Sometimes you watch them like that is like locked in. And the next thing too is like sometimes we'll be like, we've been covering, we're covering it's an NJIC podcast, but it's like, oh, where are we going to go for a game? And I'm just looking, I'm like, we're not going anywhere. I have 3 TVs in my sports room. I had Woodridge, Pagoda on. I had the Garfield Becton on, and it's like, I am definitely watching it like that. So it's awesome what you guys do. Awesome.
Yeah, we actually have like our war room at our headquarters at the County College of Morris, and what we have is we use one of their editing classrooms, and they have a big projector, and our head of production has an app that he can have all our streams up concurrently. So maybe we can hook you guys up with something like that, so you can watch all 18 this Friday.
We need that app.
We need that. Yeah, we need that.
It's like it's so cool. And I'm as the head of all our play-by-play people, it means a lot to me that you guys give that compliment, because our guys work extremely hard. Getting to know the coaches, getting to know the players, and I'll tell you what, you won't find a group more obsessed with just the whole state of high school sports than the people that we've got here. We're all pretty crazy.
No, it's awesome.
Well, you know what? It's great. It shows it's a passion, and you put out a great product because of it. So that's great.
Yep. So I guess my question for you is, 2-part question. What drew you to, like you kind of mentioned a little bit, what drew you to like some of the NJIC, like you mentioned, Garfield, Woodridge, like that? And what do you think of the NJIC conference as a whole from what you guys have been doing as, covering the games?
So the NJIC for big state sports this year, we got very lucky because Garfield had an assistant from Matt Olive go over there, and then Coach Carbone came from Sparta as their DC. And one of the first things that they told us was like, hey, immediately we went to our boosters and we're like, we got to have our games on big state sports. So that makes me really happy, because that means that our reputation kind of precedes us, right? People know that we put out a good product, that we work really hard, and it becomes I mean, there's booster clubs all over the state now. They raise money with us too. So, you can raise tens of thousands of dollars by having your games on our air. But, in addition, people know like, hey, if I want my program to be out here, Big State Sports is the place to go, which makes me really happy. Personally for the NJIC, so my whole family is either from Lyndhurst or Rutherford. You see the Rutherford helmet back there. Steve Dunn's a family friend of mine. My uncle was a varsity captain for Rutherford in the early 80s. Rank Weiler, he was a right guard, went to Muhlenberg. And so I've known Steve for a while. And I always loved, I've always loved the rivalries there. I mean, growing up, my uncle would tell me stories about them playing Hasbrook Heights all the time.
Yeah.
And then when I learned more about the NJIC, I'm like, oh, well, like when I first started getting into high school sports, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, this is the coolest conference out there because they have their own conference playoff and nobody else does that. And it helps everybody get PowerPoints into the playoffs. And not only does it do that, they make sure that every team has competitive matchups until the end of the season,
Yep.
which is my favorite part. The 0-6s will play the 0-6s. The 2-3s will play the 2-3s. I think that's great. I think that keeps the communities involved. I think that keeps the players locked in. So yeah, the NJIC it definitely has had a special place in my heart for the past couple of years for sure.
All right, well, let's see what you think of the NJIC semifinal matchups,
All right.
right? So who do you have? We're going to make you like a pseudo guest picker for these
That's
two
okay.
games there.
I'll
So,
take it.
All right, Becton Butler.
So do you mind if I have to be rapid fire or do you want longer answers?
Totally, you can give us more
right,
info,
so-
absolutely.
Okay, cool. So as long as I'm not calling the game, I'll pick whatever you want me to pick. Because we do that on our picks. We put it on our Instagram, and then instead of the logo of the team, we put a little headset if that person's calling the game.
Okay,
So
got it.
I can never pick any Hanover Park games. But it's So I think I give Butler the edge here. I like Becton a lot. I love their defense. I love the two big time sophomores they got in there, Malachi Johnson, Brian Wallach. They've combined for like 13 and a half sacks. They're complete menace in the backfield. They never give up any points. My thing with Becton is I'm not sure if this group is ready this year to win that big game. And you know what? And I love giving bulletin board material to people, so I hope I'm wrong. Also, but they're really really young. They're still integrating some of the kids coming in from Maywood too. So that's another wrinkle into it this year is, how are we integrating, kids from another school system that were originally going to Hackensack now coming on over there. So how's that blend going to work? They have so many young players, and this is a Butler team that's still feeling invincible from last year. David Smith is unbelievable. He's always in our top 10 for our passer rating leaderboards over on Big State Sports. He could run. He could throw the ball. He did throw 3 picks against Becton last time, but they still won by 4 scores. So with that going, I just think in terms of, you kind of take a step back, right? It's like, all right, who's ready to win a big game? And I think Becton is going to be a real big force to be reckoned with next year. I think the fact that they've made back-to-back NJIC semifinals are a big deal. They've got a great defense. What's his name? It's Elijah Davis, outstanding dual threat running back. I think next year might be their year. I think Butler's just a little bit too good. You've got to wait for some of their big guys to graduate. So I'm going to hit it with the Butler Bulldogs. I think that they'll go 7-0, and they'll have a really good chance of taking it home in the final as well.
All right, and how about in the other semifinal matchup there, Woodridge and Rutherford?
So I'm really damned if I do, damned if I don't.
Now you know you're
like,
done.
This is Zach. This is where you got to act like your internet doesn't work and just.
Yeah.
I can't.
Well, so the thing is, like, Coach Carbone's our boy. Like, we love him. Like, we do so much Sparta stuff, and they've got amazing fans over there. Coach Carbone is great. Rutherford is great. I love Coach Dunn. It's interesting. At the beginning of the season, I was curious to see how Rutherford was going to develop. They have all these young kids on their team, particularly at skill positions. Miles is coming in for his second season at quarterback. And then, surprise, surprise, another Joya comes in and starts lighting the world on fire. So we weren't surprised about that. Their family's also a family friend of mine as well. Rutherford's a real small, really tight-knit group over there. So I didn't even grow up there, and I know half the people that live in that town. But that's another one where it to me comes down to who's ready to win a big game. And it's a little interesting because yes, Rutherford has all this youth on their team and they didn't make it to the final last year, but they have a lot of guys on the team that did win it a couple of years ago. And when it comes to the young student athletes that they have on that team, I mean, they bring a ton to the table and they've got some impressive wins out there on their schedule. When you look at Rutherford, they're just incredibly talented up and down. They've also, keep in mind, we talk about Woodridge's defense. Rutherford's only given up 40 points this
Yep.
year. They had a great win against Waldwick. That Glen Rock game was a thriller, even
Yep.
though it was only 3-0.
Fantastic
That
game.
game was a lot of fun to follow. Yeah, and then I look over at Woodridge, and I look at their schedule, and the St. Mary's win really pops out at me as kind of a signature win. But then I looked at the rest of their strength of schedule. Park Ridge is a nice win. The loss to Pagoda has me just a little concerned. So again, I really like Coach Carbone. I really like what they bring to the table. I think we got an all Bulldogs final at Tryon Field next Friday night.
Nice. Zach, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you. We really appreciate you popping on and adding your insight to our show. We appreciate it.
Totally. And we got one game one NJIC game on this week. We've got Waldwick and Garfield Saturday 1 p.m. Always free to watch for free on YouTube on Big State Sports. So check us out, and thanks for having me on. I'd be happy to come back whenever you guys want.
Absolutely.
sure
Thank you,
we'll
Zach.
reach
And
out
we'll
to you
definitely
again.
keep that up. We'll take you up on that
Up
one.
on that for sure.
Awesome. Take it easy, guys. Have a good rest of the show.
Thank you,
too.
Zach.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks.
Okay, so Zach, big state sports, and Jen, when I'm telling you to watch this game, like I am just, how many times do I tell you, like, are we going to a game? No way. They have 3 games on. I'm putting the 3 TVs on. We'll watch them in there. So they do an unbelievable job.
Before we get to our picks, I just want to roll through a couple of our leaders here for the week, our quarterback stats. I feel like names we heard all night tonight. Chris Rios led the passing yards with 315 at Woodridge. Emron Kosami from Lodi with 247 passing yards, and then Robert Miller at Wallington rounds out the top 3 with 163 passing yards. And our rushing stat leaders, we had Dylan Ferreira, our top dog of the week, with 237 rushing yards.
All quarterbacks, by the way.
Yep. You know what's funny is I made a note about some running backs, but I left it downstairs. Shane Armstrong, Pal Park, 188, and David Smith at Butler with 168 yards. Our receiving yard leaders, when you have your quarterback at Lodi having so many passing yards, Aiden Salazar was the recipient of many of those with 171. Brandon Vega makes it on with 142, and Brady Shine from Hasbrook Heights with 121 receiving yards. And our last stat is some defensive tackles. Justin So, you'll notice a lot of Cresskill kids here on the board. Justin So leading the week with 15 tackles, 14 tackles each for Max Reiner and Dylan Lamb, both of Cresskill, 13 tackles for Noah Cruz of Garfield and Spencer Latally of New Milford, and then 12 tackles, Patrick Lynch of Beckton, Jesse Brophy of New Milford, and Dylan Cerciello, who we had on this evening from Saddlebrook. So there we have it, some stat leaders, our guests, and I think we're ready to roll into our picks. What do you think?
While we're rolling to picks, Dale Sippis, has there ever been any consideration for having the NJIC championship game played on a neutral field? I think how they do it now, they just alternate it by divisions.
We have to find out that for sure.
Yeah, but it seems like it's like last year it was whoever won the Beckton Butler game last year was going to host that game. Butler won it. They hosted it there. This year it's the winner of the other conference, which is obviously this year Rutherford Woodridge. So the winner would host it there. So that's, I think, how they do it.
All right. Well, let's bring in our guest picker for the evening. Hey, Coach
There he is.
Breslin, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing? All right?
Oh,
So
long
good to
night
see
show.
you.
Long show.
Yeah.
Long
You're
show.
not kidding. It's way past my
I
bedtime.
know. We're sorry to keep you up so late, Coach.
Coach, I'm just going to say this. She was worried when Dylan Ferreira was on. We got to get Dylan in. We got to worry. But she never mentioned we got to get Coach in and out.
That's all good. It's
No.
all good. No, listen, you got to
I
get the young
couldn't
kids
move
in.
this.
That's what it's about.
I couldn't move this segment. We are joined by Coach Joe Breslin, a current member of the Ramapo coaching staff. Coach, you guys are off to, is it a 5-1 start?
5-1, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
this
know
week.
the one loss to Old Tapan, correct?
Yeah,
But-
we lost. We got tackled on the 2-yard line with no time left.
Oh my gosh, a
Great game.
heartbreaker.
Great,
Yeah,
great program. It was,
and you
listen.
guys are steamrolling your other opponents.
So far, so good. We had a nice win last week against Wayne Valley. We have another tough test again coming up on Friday with a really good Hackensack team. Yeah, we'll be, ready to go.
Couple of comments real quick. Dr. John Taylor, you guys are stepping up your graphics game. Mama Hoops would be proud. And then Thomas Negro saying, Coach Breslin, great coach, even better guy. Orchard Street OG. Only reason I stayed up this late.
Oh my goodness, Tommy Negro, great guy, awesome guy, great player, great dad. I've known him for a long time.
Oh, nice.
Great person.
You know what? I didn't get to do the leaderboard, but you, me, and our guest picker last week all went 9-3. Kenny went 7-5. So there's no change in standings.
Okay.
Let's just say that. All right, Coach. You know the drill. You're our guest, so you're going to start us off. So our first game is Manchester at Lodi.
Sure. You know what? I looked at some of the schedule, and Manchester's had some tough games, but they still score some points. So I'm going to go with Manchester this week.
Yeah, I agree, Coach. I had said the same thing. They're putting up some points, right? So I'm picking Manchester as well. So is Kenny by a score of 19-13.
I'm going to go Manchester too. Lodi's been playing better every week, but I just don't know. And listen, Lodi's been putting up points too, but I'm going to go. I think the more explosive team is Manchester.
All right, our next matchup is Pompton Lakes at Elmwood Park.
I know what Elmwood Park got they got one win this year. Pompton, I think it's going to be a tough game, but I'm going to go with Pompton Lakes. I think they're at home, right? Is Pompton at home?
Elmwood Park.
Oh, Elmwood Park is at home. Okay, I'm going to go with Pompton Lakes.
All right, I'm picking Pompton Lakes as well. So is Kenny by a score of 21-7.
I'm going to do that too. They had a big week last week, a bounce back week. I think Pompton's defense steps it up, stops Strats, a little bit, contains them, and I'll take Pompton.
All right, and our next matchup is Wallington at Saddlebrook.
I was looking at the Saddlebrook scores recently, and they've been playing some really close games. I know you had Coach Catrona on. He's a Callstat guy. I've known him for a long time too. I think they're going to get their first win this week, so I'm picking Saddlebrook to beat Wallington.
Kenny agrees with you, picking Saddlebrook by a touchdown by a score of 21-14. I think so too, Coach. I think Saddlebrook, they've been getting closer and closer, and I think they get it done this week and get win number 1 with Coach Catrona.
Yeah, me too. I think Cercial makes some plays defensively. Like they said, they got to learn how to finish games. I think they do this week. I get on their home turf. I think they get their first win of the year and first win on that turf for Coach Catrona and that program.
All right, our next matchup is Weehawken at Hawthorne.
Listen, I know Coach Gunneri for a while. I know he's doing a good job and trying to build up that program. So they've had some tough games this year, tough schedule. I'm going to go with Hawthorne.
Okay. Kenny is picking Hawthorne in a close one, 23-21. I have Hawthorne too.
Wow, I'm different than you guys on this one. I'm going to go Weehawken. I'm going to go. You know what impressed me? Listen, they put up 60 on Pagoda 2 weeks ago. Delahoy's quarterback over there is athletic too. I'm going to take Weehawken in a little higher scoring game.
Yeah, that was some game, right? 61-60.
160, 7 touchdowns the quarterback had.
Crazy.
All right, our next matchup, Coach, is Cresskill at Powell Park.
Cresskill was a big rivalry of ours when we played. When I was at Beckton for a long period of time, they've always had a good program. I'm going to go with Cresskill to beat Powell Park.
Kenny agrees by a score of 27-13. I do too. I know that they had some back-to-back losses, tough ones, but I think they bounced back against Powell Park.
Again, what's the state, right? Like you said, what's the state of their mind over there, that team? I think Coach Nell will get them going, but again, tough one versus Rutherford, tough one with Dylan Ferrari and Waldwick. And Powell Park's won 2 in a row, but I'm still going to take, I think, the passing game of Cresskill.
All right, our next matchup is Pagoda at Secaucus.
It's always tough to go against Coach Voorhees, but Pagoda's been scoring a ton of points. They've been playing very well. I'm sure they're pretty bent out of shape that they didn't make the NJIC tournament. I'm sure they want to get into the playoffs, so I'm going to pick Pagoda.
All right, Kenny's picking Pagoda also by a score of 27-17. We had Jaden Gonzalez on tonight, and I was so impressed with him in their last matchup. I'm picking Pagoda as well.
Yeah, this is a tough one because Secaucus, like Coach said, Coach Curry over there, Coach Voorhees over there, and playing at Secaucus on a Friday. On a night, it's always tough. They're tough kids. But Pagoda, like Coach said, they're hot, man. Jaden Gonzalez, what they did to Woodridge last week, I think they keep it going, and I think just like Jaden said in the interview tonight, like they're expecting a high seed in the playoff. They want to get a home playoff game. I'm going Pagoda.
All right, our next matchup is Waldwick at Garfield.
I'm going to go. I think Waldwick is, they've been playing well. They've been a little hot. I know you had the young kid on before, and seemed to be pretty motivated. I liked his energy, so I'm going to go with Waldwick.
Yeah, Coach, I agree with you. I was so impressed with his just the way I feel like he leads his team. You could just tell through how he spoke and, his knowledge of the game and holding his teammates accountable, but in such a positive fashion. It was very impressive. So I had picked Waldwick, but that kind of solidified it for me there. I agree with you, but Kenny's picking Garfield by a score of 27-21.
Coach Breslin, this is such a tough game, right? Because Garfield, what's the state of them mentality, right? They just lost a heartbreaker for the division, went for 2 after a 19-play drive. They lost their quarterback. They go on a 19-play drive. They missed the 2-point conversion with 23 seconds left. So they don't go to the playoffs. What's the status of McCullough? Does he play? And what do you have on Friday coming at you? A running game that's been averaging about 350 yards. So Garfield has to bounce back, and I think Coach T will get him to bounce back. But I am going to take Waldwick in this one.
Yeah, well, you know what, and like we said, they're a Group 4 school too, so they're going to have, if they don't win, they have no shot to make the playoffs, right? So they got to win.
All right, Coach. Our next matchup is Glen Rock at Lyndhurst.
This, big rivalry game. It should be a really, a great game. It's funny. I know coaches on both teams. One of our former coaches from Ramapo coaches at Glen Rock, and I've known some of the Lyndhurst guys for a long period of time. Listen, Glen Rock's mad. They just lost, 3-0 to Rutherford to miss out on the playoffs. So I know they want to get a good, spot in the playoffs, for the states. So I think in a close game, I'm going to go with Glen Rock.
All right, Kenny is picking Glen Rock by a score of 33-28. I have Glen Rock in this one as well, edging out Lyndhurst.
This is probably the one game, Jen, where both teams are probably literally 2 or 3 plays away, maybe 1 play away from being in the NJIC players that they're playing each other, right? So I just don't know if I like this matchup for Lyndhurst, right? Sometimes they have trouble with rushing attacks. Matt Boysich and Burkhart can run it. I just think they might be a little experienced for Lyndhurst. I'm going to go Glen Rock too.
Okay. Our next matchup, Coach, is St. Mary's at New Milford.
I went back and forth on this, but St. Mary's, I think their strength of schedule, I think that they, have a really good shot in this game. So I'm going with St. Mary's.
All right. Kenny is picking St. Mary's by a score of 28-23. I think St. Mary's has a few more options than New Milford, so I'm picking St. Mary's as well.
This might be the first time this happened on the show. But by the way, Coach, this is a matchup of the transfer running backs playing in, because last week we had George Bruton on. He has only been averaging about 200 yards a game, and Kobe St. Hilaire has been averaging maybe even more of that over, and they're playing against each other. But I don't know, St. Mary's had trouble with Patrick Randolph last week in that offense in the Park Ridge, and what New Milford's going to do. They're going to run St. Hilaire 25-30 times at them. I'm going to take New Milford, Jen.
All right. 2 standout picks.
Hope I'm wrong.
Good stuff.
All right. Coach, our next one, Park Ridge at Hasbrook Heights.
Should be another great game. Obviously I know some of the players on the Hasbrook Heights team, as my friends' kids are on that team. So I'm going with Hasbrook Heights.
All right. Kenny's picking Hasbrook Heights in a close one, 28-26. I just feel like every week we just mention player after player who can step, if they can't run it with Napolitano, they can throw it with Brady Shine. I just feel like they have so many options. I'm going Hasbrook Heights as well.
Yeah, I'm going to take Heights too. Park Ridge, though, with this coach, I don't know if you've seen Patrick Randolph play, but you got to see this kid. I mean, he's like a bowling ball, middle linebacker, running back. He's a phenomenal player for Park Ridge. But Jen, just like you said, Heights has so many of those weapons. Then you get the young kids, right? You got Haynes, you got Culinary, those kids that are, listen, they're not just like supporting cast, like they're players that, I mean, we watched them in St. Mary's. They were two of the better players on the field that game to beat St. Mary's, right? So they've been there, they've done it. Nothing's gonna, you know, they're not gonna be in shock of, you know, playing in a big game, you know.
No, plus their fathers were guys that I coached, and now their kids are playing. Yeah.
Oh, I love
Both
it.
of them.
And Coach, they're the closest team that had Butler on the ropes recently, and
absolutely,
I'm gonna take Heights.
They want him back. I'm sure they do.
Yep.
All right, our next game is the first of two NJIC semifinal matchups. Woodridge at Rutherford.
Again, should be a classic, awesome game. I'm going to go with probably, like the guy said from Big State Sports, a little bit more maybe experience. So I'm going Rutherford.
Kenny's picking Rutherford by 2 scores, 34-20 over Woodridge. I have Rutherford in this one as well. You know what? That Glen Rock game, it just impressed me in so many ways. We talk about their youth. We talk about, you know, it was a defensive game, and, you know, they pulled it out. And I'm going, it just impressed me so much. I'm going to ride it. I'm choosing Rutherford.
Coach, this game, like when you look at quarterbacks, right? Balkan, they have Rios. You know, you look at this, the running backs, Joya, Simmons, right? Both sophomores. Receivers, you got Scalera, Icavino, you know, the tight end over there. Then Rutherford, you got Weber, you know, Nunziato, Schroeder, Morello. So like the skill kids, or they both have the skill kids. But here's the question, Coach: who's going to win up front, right?
That's what it comes down to.
The one thing that Woodridge, you know, it was just, and Coach said he's going to, you know, they'll fix it. But 21, I think they ran 15 times for 21 yards against Pagoda on Friday night. And listen, you can't run it. You're not going to just be able to go and say, I'm going to throw it 40 times and win games. It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen. Not in these kind of games. Not in championship games. You need to be able to run the ball.
So I saw what Rutherford did. I saw them have an 8-9 minute drive against Glen Rock to put that game away with the run game. So I am going to take Glen Rock up front. The up front defense, I'm going to take the advantage. I'm going to give to Rutherford.
All right, and our other NJIC semifinal matchup is Butler at Beckton.
You guys are going to get me in trouble here.
That's why we brought you on.
So my question is going to be, right, and I know Coach Marr, you know, talked about this a little bit with the last 2 games. Listen, it's a semifinal game. The kids are going to be up for it no matter what. But they played, you know, 2 weeks in a row. They were playoff games, right? In reality, to get to this point, they were playoff games. Do they have enough to be able to, you know, get another one? You know, it's tough, you know, to be putting yourself in those kind of situations, game after game after game. So as much as, you know, I love Beckton, I love what they're doing over there, I just think that Butler has a little too much for them on this particular night.
All right, Kenny agrees. He's picking Butler by a score of 28-17. You know, Beckton just, I mean, we just said it, just always finds a way to win, you know, especially in those big moments, right? Defensively, they're holding teams to just over 7 points per game as well. You know, we've talked about it before. I feel like the difference maker here is David Smith. I do. I think he's that type of player. I mean, Coach Marr said it himself. He thinks he's the best player in the league. Conference. Yeah. So I'm gonna go Butler.
And my only concern would be, and listen, talk about defensive guru. There he is, right on that other side with Coach Breslin. But, you know, as good as their defense is, Coach, you know, you can't expect them just to be on the field all night, right? I mean, you can't do it. And that's why I keep saying Beckton has to run the ball. They have to shorten the game. You know, you're not going to stop David Smith and that Butler off. You're just not going to you're not going to give up 6 points. That's not going to happen. But you also just can't go 3 and out, and, you know, a 6-play drive and defense back on the field. They're going to get worn down. So I think it comes down to Beckton just has to run the game just to stay in it for, hey, if you get them in a third quarter, if you get this game now into the third quarter, now, you know, pressure is going to be on Butler, right?
Absolutely. Plus Beckton's home.
And Becton's home, you know, like
Makes a difference.
But I think that's the whole difference. But coach, real quick, this is what happened last year. So I got to get back. It's a 60-second video. I got to show you what happened last year.
All right, that's it.
But I'm going to tell you this. On Friday night, are you joking? Are you joking? You think I'm going against Tebow? I'm not going against Tebow.
Oh my gosh, this is so
This is a college game day right now. Pat McAfee.
Have you guys ever gone against Tebow? I can't even put this on. It's gonna mess.
This
You
is
know
a college
what?
game day right now, Pat.
Wow.
Give me the Becton defense to travel. Palsey's gonna run it 40 times. I love you, Coach Luciani. I do, and Michelle, I love you too. But you know what? I said it all along, Jen. Run the ball, play defense.
That's your formula.
And I'm not going against Tebow because if anyone does, I'm not getting burned. Hey, give me Becton. So that was last year, Coach Breslin. That was last year. It's the only time I went against Becton in 2 years. Only time once. And Coach, I don't know if you know, Coach, I'm a diehard Nick fan. Jen's a diehard Nick fan. You know who's a diehard Nick fan? Coach Luciani. And we have bigger things that we have to worry about starting next Wednesday.
Oh boy, we have props.
Nice.
Coach, I'm sorry, Becton, I love you guys, but I'm on a mission. My mission is I don't go against anything with the Knicks. Listen, next week we might have to talk about that if things work out, but I'm wearing my Knicks shirt. And Coach, this is what it's going to be all about. That's what it's about, Coach. We need this Knick title so hard. So am I selling my soul with Bet? I don't know what I'm doing. But me, I didn't put Jen in the picture, but me, Coach Luciani, and the Knicks, we're going to get our title. But I think Butler's going to the title. I'm taking Butler Friday night.
That's great. That's great. Jen, you got to get him some of the hats for like college game day.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I
This
never
is
know
good.
where-
I wear this is actually Jen's Brunson. She gave it to me.
I never know where he's going with these, Coach. It's always
No, it's all good. It's all fun. It's awesome.
Oh, Coach Breslin, thank you so much for joining us, for staying up late. We really appreciate it. We always love having you on and your expertise, sharing them with us.
No problem. Thanks so much for having me on the show. I always love trying to get on and talk football. Absolutely. So it's always great opportunity.
Good luck to you with
Thank
the
you,
rest of the
Coach.
season.
Thank you very much. Yeah, well, we're gonna keep pushing one game at a time. And right now it's hack and sack. So looking
Nice.
forward to it.
We're always following along. Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach.
Good night, Coach.
Have a good night, guys.
There he is, the best, Coach
Absolutely
Breslin.
best,
We
yeah.
talk
Yep.
defense.
Yep.
That's the best.
Well, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank all of our guests. We had a slew of them on tonight from, Coach Catrona we started with. It feels like it was a week ago we had him on this evening, right? And his player Dylan, Eli came in, Jaden came in. We had, our NJIC teams come in for the semifinals. Our player of the week, Dylan, joining us. Zach from Big State Sports, Coach Breslin. Thank you for tuning in and watching.
And Joe Merge just said, very late show tonight, packed, full of interesting stuff. Great show. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
And let's give it a big shout out to Sean.
Oh,
for
yes,
being
behind-
backstage. Thank
and
you, Sean. You're
staying
still
the
with
whole
us, right,
time. I
Sean?
know.
I don't know if you guys can hear, but I'm still here.
There he is. There he is. He did a great job. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you. So good luck to all the teams playing this week, and tune in next week.